So YouTube, excuse me, let me get this around the right way. I'm reusing soil, and in doing so, there's a couple of steps that I'm actually taking to put some nutrients back into the soil. Now I'm actually going to mix it with all my used soil with a couple of bags of the Fox Farm, Ocean Forest, and Happy Frog, and I'm going to mix all of it together. But this soil is barren, has no nutrients, and it's really going to bring down the nutritional value of the soil mixed with the Fox Farm Ocean Forest. Even though the Ocean Forest is really hot, by adding 4 or 5 gallon buckets worth of used up Fox Farm, you need to put something back into it. So that's what I'm doing. Now this is 1 5 gallon bucket of finished product. I say finished product, I mean basically it's been dried out, it's been baked, and it's been put in a dog food bag basically. Now if you follow me over here, what you're going to need is a small fan, B, old coffee grounds and filters, C, omega-3 and omega-6 fish oil. Now this is, and it's been purified to eliminate mercury, and that is the key ingredient. If you're not finding that on your bottles, you're probably feeding your plants mercury and thus smoking it. Not a good idea. Anyway, these are all used coffee grounds. Boom, from the coffee pot right there. And I would have more than this, except for I didn't have the small fan and thus had some moldy coffee, which wasn't good. Anyway, what I've done is basically I take a used coffee filter, and now I've got them stacked on top of one another essentially, but I'm not worried about molding with oil and coffee and paper right there with a fan on it. So now what I do is, and I'm going to actually put you on your side right here so that you can actually kind of see what it is that I'm doing. Here, let me move that out of the way. Okay, so you can see that pretty well, I think. Alright, now all I'm doing essentially is, and you got to be slow about this, because if you don't, it's going to squirt everywhere and you're going to miss all your oil, and you don't want that. So just cut slowly, and then cut through it, drain it, chunk it, repeat. You want to get enough oil on here that it soaks up the paper really good. And the idea behind that is you're creating a piece of paper filled with tons of nutritional value for your plant. Now, as far as like being true fish emulsion like the Ocean Forest, no, but it's not. And see, I just sprayed it everywhere and I lost some. But once you've got your filter, full of oil, the next thing you want to do is get it spread around. Spread it around a little bit, and I think I want one more oil tablet on this, and I'm using about four capsules, 3 to 4 capsules per filter. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact science, guys. I mean, you're just trying to refill some of the nutritional value back to the soil before, because the thing is you don't want to have to resort to nutrients early on in their life, in my opinion. Now I wash my hands for the next step because it's kind of messy. If you don't, you'll end up with fish oily smelling hands with coffee grounds all over them you can't get off, and that's no bueno. Now I just take bare hand, grab some, and just start sprinkling it around in there. Now what you're doing is you're creating a vacuum. The oil has nowhere to go but get absorbed by the coffee grounds and the paper. So essentially you're making sure that all the nutritional value in that oil is going to reach your soil. And once you've got it all spread around like that, just kind of manually just pack it a little bit there. And then what you want to do is you're just going to leave it there for a day or two Ideally 3 days, really, 2 or 3 days. Don't be in a rush when you're doing this. But more importantly, don't rush doing this while you're doing it, because you'll make a mess everywhere. Anyway, essentially what you're going to do is you're going to keep the fans on. You're going to keep the fans on these things. And as you'll notice, I've got the pan tilted up, not down. You want to tilt it up because you don't want to be blowing grounds all over your kitchen or wherever you're going to be putting it. So I do have it facing and tilting down. Now you're going to see that the oil's going to stick to the bottom and the top of that. That's not going to be a real big deal, because once it's all absorbed in a couple of days, you're going to be able to brush those grounds off real easy into your little container, and then you're going to stack all of these little filters up, and you're going to cut them. And once you cut them all, just cut them up into small little squares, and then just throw it in your soil, because that's all. It's good compost. That's great compost, in fact. So anyway, that's all I got for you, YouTube, and I appreciate you watching. Have a good one. Peace.